Okay, boys and girls, so we're going to be looking at point of view in Dear Dragon. And I had you reread pages 184 to 191. And I wanted you to pay special attention to point of view. Now, here's what I want you to think about. We have our point of view page, which is right here where it says point of view. Now, there's something interesting that's going on in the story about point of view. And I want to know, our first question says, from whose point of view is the story being told? What do you notice from pages 184 to 191? What are we noticing about point of view? Yanni, what do you notice about point of view?
That when you're looking at the notes, they say we and they say I.
Okay, so what does that tell us about point of view? Who's telling the story?
George and.
Okay, so George is telling the story. Anybody else telling the story? Who else's point of view is it from? Is it just from George's point of view? Is he the only one telling the story? No, he's not the only one telling the story. Who else is telling the story? Libby?
Blaze.
Blaze is telling the story. Is anyone else telling the story? Olive?
The teachers.
The teacher is telling the story as well. So we have 3 different people telling our story. Isn't that interesting? So is it from first person or third person point of view, this story? Avery? It's first person point of view. So the story is first person point of view. So we do have a first person point of view story, but it's being told from 3 different people's point of view, which is so very interesting. So on pages 185 and 186, so let's write. Because we're going to have to write some different things here. So where it says, from whose point of view is the story being told? So let's write page, so this is at the top part. Pages 185 to 186, that's what we're going to write there, boys and girls. And we're going to write a dash. So we know this, it is George and Blaze's teachers. Okay, so it's going to be George and Blaze's teachers. And, okay, so we know that. So on pages 185 and 186, and this is the point of view part at the top. I'm going to write POV. And then on the bottom is how do we know? I'm going to write a question mark there. How do we know? And how do we know that? Because we're going to have to be working both top and bottom at the same time. You guys can figure that. You guys can go from the top question to the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that? How do we know that it's the teachers answering or telling that part of the story? What are the clues? What are the clue words? What are the clue words? Jensen?
You see in the picture that they are talking to the students.
Okay, we see that they're talking. What else do we see there?
We see,
Do they use any clue words?
hello.
Are they using any clue words? Mikey? I. Do they say the words I in there?
No.
I don't think they use the words I. I'm not seeing the words I. I didn't see the words I. Thomas?
I saw an I. No. I dropped you a ball.
On page 186?
Oh wait.
Yeah, we're just on pages 184. We're looking here on pages 185 and 186.
No.
I'm not seeing I, for sure, I'm not seeing I. Kelsey?
They're saying hello, students.
They said, hello, students. So we're gonna say, here, go to the second part, right here, boys and girls. We're right here, down here. We're gonna say on page, on page 185, the teacher says, hello, students. It says, hello, students, that's a tip off, okay? And she says, what else does she say? Yes, Avery?
On page 106, it says now open, like the teacher's saying now open up.
Now she says, and she says your envelopes, right? She says your,
On page 186.
on a 186, yes. Olive,
She says our.
our, and then the words our, and you, where's our, you, and your are used. Okay, so you know what, I'm gonna label this 1, and I'm gonna make that a 1, so we know that they go together. Okay?
Are they from the same paragraph?
No, they're on different ones. Okay, this one, this is number 1 on the top, the first one, and then we have a number 1 on the bottom, because they go together. We're citing the text evidence. So this one goes here with the point of view on top, this one is the text evidence, just because of the way this one is written. And we're, yes, like that. Libby, hold yours up so she can see how you wrote yours, like that.
Yeah.
That's how we're kind of doing that.
Like this one?
Yes, like that. Because just the way this sheet is written, so we're having to write the point of view at the top and then the text evidence on the bottom. Because we want to use our book club thing, our book things. Okay, now we can move on and we can kind of talk about here. We could talk about the pen pals letters. Are they written in first person or third person point of view? Yes, Juliana.
They're written in first person because it says I.
Yes, first person. So the pen pal letters, and those letters are on pages 88 and 91. Okay, so I'm going to put it 2. Pages 188 and 191 are first person. Okay, is it making sense now? First person point of view. Yes.
Are we on this one? Whose point of view is saying?
We're on the first part, we're up here. Okay, we're up here. And then we're gonna go down here to the bottom part, like this. Here, I'll wiggle it like that. Yes.
So the first person point of view from.
It's still first person point of view, so this here, how about if I write here, George and Blaze, let's add that.
Oh, that's.
So we'll put George and Blaze, George and Blaze. George and Blaze. George and Blaze. You might have more room to write it, because I'm kind of out of room.
I have number 9.
Okay, you might have more room. I didn't leave myself very much room there. And then for On the bottom, we're gonna write how we know it is first person for George and Blaze. How do I know that? How do we know that George and Blaze? I have to say that I'm pretty impressed that you guys always seem to be able to pick out the point of view. Now that we've done it a bunch of times, it's so much easier to figure it out, right, boys and girls? You're able to immediately figure out whose point of view the story is from. Libby, how do you know that's from George and Blaze's?
Because it says
On page 188 it says I. Is it on page 188, Libby? So let's everybody look on page 188.
I don't know what to say.
Yes, it says I don't know what to say.
I
I don't know what to say. They use the words.
I like playing catch and soccer. I'm trying to do it. I
Yeah.
really don't like writing. I don't know what to say.
Oh, that was Libby talking, I hope. Yes, they use the words I and my, right?
Yep.
Anything else? They use the words I.
Me.
I, my.
Me.
Is the word me in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
I, me, and mine. Perfection.
No, there's no me. There's we.
We.
Yeah, not me.
Okay, well, I'll change the N to a W. That's the beauty of having an eraser. We can avail ourselves to its use. So very good. So this is how we know the point of view of our story. We're so good. Yes, we're so very good at this. I feel like we've become experts. Who feels like they're an expert at point of view? We've been doing so much of it. We've come a long way from when we first started looking for text evidence. We've gotten very good at finding the text evidence. I really like how people are finding page numbers and paragraph numbers. That's very good. That's why they're numbered in our book for us to look for that. That's excellent. Excellent, excellent. I must have the smartest class at SJE. I'm positive I do. Okay, we just have to continue to work hard. So, let's get that. So now here